The three.
We're good. All right, we're back on the Xhale podcast, live in action. I'm here with Rodman Lees. My name's Eric Strauss. Thanks for tuning in tonight. For those of you who are already on, saw a couple of viewers on there, so that's always sweet to see. Welcome everyone to the Xhale podcast.
Good evening, Eric.
Good evening, Rodman. Today, we'll get started by thanking our sponsors as always. Number one, Florida Freedivers. Check out their store here in North Palm Beach where we are filming in their awesome location. Check them out for some gear if you need some sweet diving gear. One of the biggest free dive spearfishing shop in the United States.
Yeah, biggest spearfishing shop in the United States, second biggest in the world. Damn you, Adreno. And then check out our new website. Just launched a new website. The thing is pretty sweet if I do say so myself.
flfreedivers.com.
Much easier to navigate.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Looks good. Also, Teach Me to Freedive. Check them out on Instagram if you want to take some some FII sanctioned freedive courses, spearfishing, freediving, you name it. Check them out. They can run those for you. And Ballast Freediving, also on Instagram at Ballast Freediving. You can find their gear in store at Florida Freedivers as well, so be sure to check that out if you need some freediving gear.
Sweet. All right, man.
What are we getting rolling with?
So we're gonna talk about the spring Cobia run here in South Florida. So always a busy time of the year.
Always.
March Madness. Always action packed. But before we get into that, we'll talk about our video contest. So we are running a video contest with help from our sponsor, Florida Freedivers, giving away a couple gear packages to the winners. But the theme of it basically is, how's your spring break? So hashtag Xhale Spring Break, Instagram video contest. Not all that, right?
Just hashtag Xhale Spring Break.
Hashtag Xhale Spring Break. It's a Instagram video contest. So whoever we decide has the best, the coolest, most interesting spring break video. The contest runs from now till April 25th. So last Wednesday in April. Winner gets a Florida Freedivers wetsuit in whatever size, black or camo, that blue digi camo, and the Remora bag. So it's that backpack style dive bag, has a dry pocket, a soft cooler in it. Thing is freaking awesome.
Which is pretty solid prize, I might add.
Yeah, right? That's like a couple $100 in prizes.
$300 wetsuit and a $120 bag.
Yeah, that's awesome. Second place gets a Florida Freedivers hat and a Florida Freedivers shirt. So decked out. You're going to be decked out either way. Super excited to see how these videos come out. As far as grading criteria, it is completely arbitrary. Completely arbitrary. I'm just going to pick whichever one I like the best. Eric and we're going to pick whichever one we like the best.
And it can literally be anything.
Yeah.
but we're looking
spring break
spearfishing is our main theme here.
So obviously, spearfishing. Whoever had the coolest trip over their spring break. Goes till April 25th.
But it can be freediving, spearfishing. I mean, if you went to the springs for spring break,
absolutely.
Throw it up there. You never know. If you got a sick video.
Absolutely. To enter, all you have to do is hashtag that video, that Xhale Spring Break.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram at Xhale Freediving on Instagram, and subscribe
on YouTube.
to the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Exactly.
So definitely.
So you do those three things.
If you're watching and you're finding out from this video on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. It's literally right in front of your face right now. So click that. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, and that is how you win.
Perfect.
And we'll be putting updates on that as we go through.
Definitely.
And if you want to check out the competition, eyeball that hashtag, man.
Exactly.
Hashtag Xhale Spring Break.
Something tells me that if you enter, you got a pretty good chance to win.
The odds are in your favor.
May the odds always be in your favor. So awesome. So that's the contest. I really hope to see some cool videos put together, and it's always a cool excuse to. I can't tell you how many GoPro clips I have. An excuse to kind of throw them together. And GoPro's got that awesome app now. It's the Quick Story app.
Yep.
Where you literally just put your video. It does it all for you. It'll add music, do the cuts. It'll do everything for you, and it comes out really, really cool.
For minimal effort, it comes out surprisingly good.
Yeah, and it's a free app. It's called
Quick Story.
Quick Story. Yeah.
I think it's just quick if you look it up. But
Quick.
comes with there's music on it. There's royalty free music that you can use, or rather, the royalty is already paid by GoPro. So that's a cool feature. It's got a ton of music built in. You can put your own songs in there too, but be mindful. Instagram may remove your video if it has copyrighted music in it. May or may not. Who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Sick.
I'm looking forward to seeing some sweet videos from everyone.
Yeah, no excuses. Use that GoPro app. It is super easy. All right, so the spring Cobia run, it's like mid-April or I guess mid-February to mid-April is when you see it, and right now in March, in the end of March, is really when it seems like it's the hottest, and they're out there right now. You know, we're getting awesome reports. I'm seeing them out there, so now's the time to if you've never shot a Cobia, or if you out there every season, now's the time to get out there.
Yeah, and they're people shoot them all year round here, right? So they're definitely always some sort of population of Cobia here, but there seems to be 2 times per year that they really start coming in, and this time that's coming up, the spring run, they're moving back up north, seems to be the most populated.
Yeah, so
More fish.
I don't know, and that's actually a really good point. Is there are 2 runs a year? Most people just consider the spring run like the run, like
Yeah.
that's it. But no, they migrate from at least off the Carolinas, that far north, Georgia, North South Carolina, northern Florida, down all the way to the Keys. There's a good Keys bite, and we just happen to be kind of right in the middle of it. We definitely have those resident Cobia out here. But I don't know if they're breeding down in the Keys, down in the warmer water, or what the deal is. If they're just trying to maintain that water temperature.
I think, yeah, who knows? They could be spawning, whatever. I think
Yeah.
that water temperature seems to be the key thing
factor,
there. And they might be chasing that water temperature for spawning or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a marine biologist, but temperature seems to be important for sure. And
Absolutely, man. They and it also seems like in the when they first are running the other direction, like the beginning of winter, they seem to be a little bit bigger. Not as many, but a little bit bigger fish. On the way back this way, they seem to, and this is just from what I've seen, obviously, again, I'm also no marine biologist, but just practical observation is that there's more quantity of fish, but less quality of fish. I'm clicking away on that keyboard, dude. But yeah, they go all the way up to North Carolina, and they are thick. If you've ever dove off the Carolinas, they're freaking thick there.
Yep.
We have Florida Freedivers actually has a trip up to Frying Pan Shoals, so you're staying on like, I don't know if that's an old oil rig derrick, or do you know what that thing is out there?
I don't know if it may have been an oil rig. I think it has something to do with the Navy.
It looks like an old oil rig,
Yeah.
basically out in the middle of nowhere.
I think it was a naval tower.
Yeah, where you
of
go
some sort.
stay on that. It's actually a crane that lowers you down into the water. That's April 17th through the 21st. If you're interested in going up there, shooting ton of African pompano, bunch of Cobia, plus biggest freaking mangroves, massive hogs, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely epic diving.
Yeah,
Like-
if you're people that are chasing the hogfish world records, that's where they go.
Oh yeah.
And
That's where the current one is from, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Actually, it might be from Bahamas. Let me check.
But that's the May 17th through 21. And then as far as them being thick around here, who showed me a crazy picture of a Cobia though is out of like Kuwait, all that area.
Yeah.
Dude, they get like when we're like, oh, we got a big one's like 50 and up. Their big one's 100 and up.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't even look like the same fish. It is insane how
Yeah,
big they get off of there.
They grow them fat, and Brazil too. They've
Yeah,
got all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
oil rigs in Brazil, and those guys, they shoot some big boys off of those things.
Crazy, man.
I think that's where the current record, spear gun record, is from Brazil.
Gotcha. All right. Anyway, as far
Nope, from Mexico.
from Mexico,
145 pounds, almost 146 pounds.
Dang,
Let me see a picture of this
dang.
thing. Nice.
She big,
I wish I could. Actually, I probably can show this. It's big, but the dude is just
rocking a speedo, for
looking
sure.
like a savage. Oh yeah, with a Rob Allen.
Nice.
That's money.
So around here though, it seems like Palm Beach and Jupiter. I think it's because the current's so close to us, they don't just hang out in the Gulf Stream. That a little bit further south, a little bit further north, they seem to be like a little bit thicker. Stewart tends to be the go-to place, so like the pipe barge, sand pile, those always seem to get cobia just stacked up in them, and they're not big areas either. So you'll pull up on the spot, especially like the sand pile. You'll pull up on the sand pile and you'll be like, oh man, it's too packed. I'm not going to see anything, and you'll limit out, in your first couple dives. The limit is one per person, or six per vessel, whatever's less.
Yep.
Uh, and it's also 33 inches to the fork. So from the nose to where the tail starts to V, is 33 inches.
And people say you never see cobia that small. You definitely will see cobia that small. Or that size, rather. Because even a 33-inch cobia is, it's a decent size.
Yeah. And I've seen cobia that I thought were remoras.
Yeah.
They kind of, you get those like three stripes down the side. And they'll look similar to a remora when they're small.
Yeah.
Even when they're big, I'm like, that's the biggest remora I've ever seen. But no, it's cobia.
To me, when they get real big, at least when they first come up on me, especially if it's in dirty viz or whatever, they look like sharks to me.
Totally look like sharks.
I always mistake the big ones for sharks.
That big brown head and forked tail, that's definitely, and they almost have
unless
like a
it's
little
swimming with a shark.
Yeah.
Then if they're by themselves I mistake them for sharks all the time.
For sure. Yeah. So, but you can still definitely find them off of Jupiter, off of Palm Beach. They're just not quite as thick as like, Boca Boynton, and then like, Jupiter to Stewart, a little north of Stewart. You find them real good up there as well. What's up?
I pulled up the hogfish record. The picture is huge, dude.
Yeah.
It just says U.S. Oh yeah, North Carolina, frying pan shoals in 50 feet of water.
Come on.
There you go.
So we'll be growing up riding reel fishing for them. And if you're going on a charter boat, going for cobia, there's a good chance you're gonna be running the beach for rays. That's a great way to find them, especially if you have any kind of tower, any way to like have one guy driving the boat, one guy up on top of the T-top. If you have like a little station up there, just running the beach looking for rays. That's a really productive way to do it. You can cover a lot of ground that way. And those rays, especially on a nice day, man, are pretty easy to spot. And they hold fish.
Yeah.
You find a ray, it's gonna have, 6 or more cobia on it. The typical way that we'll do that is we'll just run the beach. So off of Palm Beach, it's like a sand bottom, like all the way to there. Water's usually real clear, so it's pretty easy, and we'll just
clear enough.
We'll just run in shallow and just kind of run that shallow reef looking for rays. We'll play, let's say we have 3 or 4 people in the boat. We'll put 2 divers in. One diver just sticks with the ray, so their only job, follow the ray. The second diver will shoot a cobia. Then he's going back to the boat. Guy in the boat helps them. They land the ray. That guy with the ray is just sticking with the ray. Now the guy that shot the fish is driving the boat. He catches back up with the guy chasing the ray. The guy who's in the water shoots a cobia, and it's that guy's turn now. The guy that jumped in the water to now follow the ray, and you kind of cycle through that, and that way you get to pick off all the cobia on the ray. If both people shoot one right off the bat, well, you're gonna lose that ray. And although you found it the first time, you don't want to.
They move fast.
They move faster than you think. They move
real fast.
They move faster than you think. So that's an awesome strategy for diving on rays. I've had a bunch of good luck with that. I am also, if I see, what were you saying?
I was gonna say another one we've done. Same thing, same kind of attack plan. But instead of just running the beach, we'll go to there's a handful of wrecks and barges and stuff that are real shallow, especially through Palm Beach. There's a couple in Jupiter. A lot of them over the years have gotten covered up with sand, but we'll go straight to those spots. And sometimes during the spring run, where it seems to be the cobia are pushing up into the shallower water more as that water gets warmer, they'll be hanging out on those little pieces of structure. Even if it's like a little box, in like coming out of the sand. They'll stack up behind those things to get out of the current and just hang out. Or out of Palm Beach, man, I see guys shoot cobia off the marker buoys all the time.
Yeah, right. I mean, those are fads. You know,
Yeah.
It's funny. The only people I see diving those are shooting kudas, and so you get guys because the kuda will stack up in there pretty good.
Yeah.
But they never. I mean, I'm sure they're doing opportunity stuff, but man, those things hold some fish.
My buddy Manny's got a video of him shooting. I think what is his first cobia off one of those.
Nice. It's cool they caught it on film.
Yeah.
You know, but like you said, in that shallow reef, man, definitely don't ignore reef structure. They'll stick to structure as well.
For sure.
The first cobia,
ledges.
Yeah, ledges especially. The first cobia I ever shot, it was with a Hawaiian sling. We were just going for snapper in shallow, and this time of year I'm warming up for the Bahamas, man. So I'm trying to use my sling as much as possible.
There you go.
And if I'm, forever, my rule is if I can touch the bottom, I'm using a sling. If I can't touch the bottom, I can use a gun. I've adapted that a little bit now, but
as your depth range has just barely increased past if you
yeah,
can touch the bottom.
Exactly. But I still try to use a sling a ton. But the first one ever, man, I'm just diving the reef, and in a little kind of pothole in the reef, there's a ray covered in the sand, and a cobia sitting on top of him, and just he let me swim right up to him, blasting him straight down into the sand. And it wasn't it wasn't a 50-pounder, but it was definitely legal. It was probably 40 inches.
Yeah.
And
that's
dude, I was fired up, man.
Yeah.
It was like, at the time, it was the biggest fish I'd ever shot with a sling off of Palm Beach.
And that was your first cobia too,
And that was
right?
my first cobia. I was fired up.
And a lot of times you'll see rays posted up in the sand like that, just hanging out, like they kind of like bury themselves a little bit. And the cobia will be with them, laying on the sand.
Yeah.
And they can be hard to see from the surface because they get real light because they're trying to blend. They change colors just like any other fish. So they can be hard to see. But go check that ray out because you might see, as you get closer, you'll see the cobia sitting there. And you can just pin them to the sand.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally, man. So that works really good. If I'm diving off of Palm Beach, especially, for whatever reason, man, I always see a ton of turtles when I'm diving off of Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
If I see a turtle come up and take a breath, it's worth jumping in and seeing if anything's with them.
Turtles don't hang out on sand.
No.
Turtles hang out on reef.
Yeah.
Just a heads up. If you see a turtle, that means it's on a reef.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Even if it's just a little tiny ledge or whatever, because they wedge themselves up in under those ledges.
And same thing to get out of the current. They're just resting on the bottom.
But turtles don't go and sit in the sand. They're sitting on structure.
Yep, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So if I see a turtle, it's not 100%, but it's good enough to where I'm putting someone in the water. Someone's putting a mask on it and going and looking, because you never know. You got to check. You don't want to waste any opportunities, when you're out there. So that's really good. So rays, turtles, don't ignore the deep wrecks or deep ledges.
Mm-hmm.
All that structure will hold cobia
for sure.
And then what's cobia season?
Are you strung up over there?
I was a little bit. What's it known for is sharks. Shooting them off sharks, and that's really,
which has rapidly become the most Instagram popular way to acquire cobia.
It is crazy. And in just the time that I've been doing it, which is, I'm no forefather shooting cobia off of sharks for sure, but
people have been doing it for longer than people think.
Yeah.
You get guys coming in the shop like now, and they're like, "Oh man, I just started shooting cobias off bull sharks. We're like the only guys out here that do it." I'm like, no, dude.
No,
people have been doing this for 15 years plus. Yeah. Probably way longer than that. That's just the longest time I could remember people doing it,
For sure.
I'm sure people did it before that.
It's exploded enough to where the sharks know the program.
They do.
It used to be like you'd see sharks at the bottom and you'd have to work to bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like, all right, they'll come up to the flasher. You'll get them to the flasher,
or they'll hang out just underneath the flasher.
Yeah, now they start at the flasher. That's where they're at.
And then they come hang out in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is no joke, and I don't want anybody taking it lightly diving with sharks. They're an apex
especially
predator.
bull sharks.
Yeah, they are an aggressive apex predator. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
You're no longer at the you jump in the water even with a spear gun, you're no longer at the top of the food chain.
No, the sharks.
If a shark wants to bite you, it is going to bite you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing can control it. I don't care if you got 10 shark shields strapped on you.
Yeah.
If that shark wants the fish that you have, he's gonna get it.
He's going to get it.
No questions asked.
Yep.
He's coming in.
He's coming in.
And bull sharks in themselves, like we've talked about it before, our bull shark population here is insane. I mean, there's so many of them. They can be fairly aggressive, not always. And bull sharks are just unpredictable, man. You talk to any of the shark divers, which we've also talked about. We're not a huge fan of like shark feeding operations, but you talk to any of those guys, which we do. I mean, they'll dive with bull sharks, but they'll tell you. I mean, they say that they can like read shark behavior and know when to get out of the water. They'll say, man, when bull sharks turn it on, there's no talent. Like, there's no way to predict when they're turning it on.
Yeah.
You know,
All
they
of a
just
sudden,
go
it's time to
boom,
go.
and
Yeah.
they're tearing you apart.
Yeah. So forget that. However, sharks definitely hold cobia. You know, just like turtles and rays. You see a shark, it's gonna have
more cobia than any other method we've talked about, at least in recent years.
And the reason I think that is you can control it. There's not really a way to bring in rays. There's not really a way to bring in turtles.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to attract some sharks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, so that's how you're gonna.
Sharks show up to chum. Is that what you're telling me?
What? Well, based off all the researchers that all the shark scientists have been doing, they've concluded that sharks come to chum. Amazing. Who would have guessed it?
Groundbreaking.
I'm pretty sure that's a peer-reviewed study now.
Nice.
Sharks come to chum, so we can officially say that on the podcast.
Nice.
So sharks come to chum. They and as well as flashers. So the typical pelagic setup that I'm going to use, and it's pretty consistent whether I'm, doing cobia, dolphin, you name it, wahoo, kingfish, you name it. It's going to be, I'm only tweaking it slightly. The broad strokes are a flasher, and I'm running that between 25 to 35 feet, like right in there. Let's call it like 30 to 40, 90% of the time is
this
where I'm running it.
For when you're diving sharks?
This is my pelagic setup in general, but yeah, if I'm going that route for cobia,
yeah,
this is what I'm using.
Do you run a flasher if you're not diving sharks? If you're diving just like if you're targeting cobia, are you running a flasher on like structure and stuff like that? Or if you see a ray and you jump on a ray, are you throwing a flasher? No. Okay. No. I don't either. I'm just wondering if that's something you do.
Yeah. It depends on the bottom because I don't think the cobia really makes that much of a difference if you're diving structure for cobia. But if I'm diving structure, you might see some permit. You might see some kingfish where that flasher makes a huge difference. And I'm gonna have it in my dive bag. So chances are I'm gonna be running it.
Yeah, well, I've gotten into the habit of always having a flasher with me now. I'm not going out here without one.
You get those Rob Allen shore flashers or the JBL. What does JBL call their version of it?
The bait ball or something like that.
The bait ball,
or it might be the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know, but
one of those two.
It's
They're
that
both
PVC
super similar.
capsule with the.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the JBL is the way to go.
Yeah.
The JBL flasher is money.
Yeah.
Acrylic really like fish, the neutrally buoyant, they flutter around a lot more. The Rob Allen ones are stainless, which is nice because they're stainless, but they're heavy. They don't flutter as much. There's less fish on the Rob Allen one.
Yeah.
Both good flashers.
That
I'm partial to the JBL.
I like that the JBL one's float is a little bit larger too.
Yep.
It
and that not only that
makes a little bit of a difference.
The acrylics are lighter and it's a bigger float.
Yeah.
The JBL's a smaller float and it's heavier. Like that float is almost underwater when you set it up.
I'll be working it, and if I let it go like underneath it, I'm
literally
afraid that it's gonna sink.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. But just to go back to what you're saying is, I'd rather run a flasher and not need it than miss an opportunity because I didn't have it.
Yeah. I've just found, at least in the past, To be honest, I haven't targeted cobia on structure here in a while. But in the past, we jump in on array or jump in on like a little wreck or something on a little bit of structure, and they're either there or they're not.
Yeah.
You know, they come straight up to you,
Yeah.
give you one like go at them, and then they're gone. On the rays, it's a little bit different because they'll stay on the ray, but at least on structure, I found that they'll come up once and you'll never see them again.
Yeah. And the structure that we have around here isn't that big. You know, like if you're diving like the MG or
The
something like that, you
yeah.
got 3 or 4 dives on it before you have to reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
all the current. Too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the
it's 'cause
natural
the
structure
current.
doesn't have much relief.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a ton.
You're moving pretty good over any of it
Yeah.
because of the current. No, that's a good question. I am. Where wait? So I'm running the flasher. I'm also gonna be having some chum in the water. I think we both agree glass minnow chum's where it's at. So it gets that
Glass
scent.
minnows are money.
Glass minnows are money. It gets a scent in the water, some real sparkle.
Yeah, and a
Go
wombo
on.
combo is always good too. You know, the sardines with the glass minnows is a good combo. Dude.
So yep, I was gonna say that. So I'll have the flasher going. I'll have the chum out attached to the. I usually just attach it to the flasher float of the glass minnows. I really like that sparkle that they give off, and the fish aren't eating it. They just smell it in the water, so they're trying to track down where that's coming from.
And the bait will crush them. I mean, the bait absolutely crushes
Yeah,
some
yeah,
things, but
yeah.
they sink super slow.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Exactly. It's almost like a throw flasher. And once it starts like defrosting real good, you can use that as a throw flasher and just take a handful of that stuff and huck it pretty good, which is nice. And then I'll have sardines as well, but I'm not really chumming with the sardines. I'm slowly chunking them.
Yeah.
So I'll have like a little like another chum bag basically. But I'm taking like one out and holding it in my hand, and I'll like break it into like thirds or fourths and let it go, and then let it go.
Yeah.
You know, like it's real slow that I'm doing it. I'm almost waiting until I see something, you know, whether that's whatever I'm trying to attract, and then trying to like get that to come in because it sees some bigger stuff.
Even using them as like half and whole sardines is good too. You go through them faster, obviously, but dude, if a kingfish is swimming around or whatever it is that's swimming around, and he's like, man, screw these little chunks, man. I got bigger stuff over here behind this sporty that's like throwing out dead bonitas. You know?
But that's a good point too. Is I'll shoot chum. I'll shoot those triggers as chum. You get bonita in there. Bonita work great as chum because they're super bloody.
If you're
rainbow runners,
if you're real good, you can shoot a speedo.
Ooh, dude!
I'll tell you what, that's one of the hardest fish you'll ever try and shoot. They're small, thin, and they are lightning.
Once you get your hands on them, they're fatter than they look.
Yeah, they are.
They're
not a big target.
They're not a big target. I poked one, but it didn't deploy because I didn't pull the trigger. It didn't deploy my slip tip when we were in Key West.
Oh,
I put it straight through it and was freaking out on the end of the slip tip, and you know I don't want to put my freaking hand in front of the shaft, so it wound up coming off. But those work real good. Red tail. Growing up, we either call them speedos, mackies, or firetails. But I think the name of them is red tail scad, the scientific name.
Gotcha. I've always called them speedos.
Speedos, yeah.
Which are wahoo candy, by the way.
Ooh.
I mean, that's like, I don't know if it's true or not. It seems to me that's like the primary food source of wahoo.
If I was going to design a fish to eat those things,
it'd be a wahoo.
It would look like a wahoo. Like the end result would be a wahoo.
Yeah.
You know, those look evolutionarily designed to eat those things.
Yep. So if you're chumming, throwing out glass minnows, because that's what those things will tear up a ball of glass minnows. You can get those things all around you. That's a great like bait fish to have around you in the area.
Yeah, and now you're live chumming. You know, you have those things around you.
Which is another tactic, by the way. Yeah. Live pilchards are fire for, you know, throwing around like live chunking, we call it. And just hucking them. You can build your own school of pilchards because they'll stay like on you or on the boat.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We if I'm running out of Jupiter, we'll run in kind of close to Du Bois Park right there.
Yep.
And you know, kind of throw the net back in there, and that's a pretty easy place, man.
Dude, you can black out a live well with those things in like if you got a
couple
big net,
casts.
you can throw it in one throw.
Yeah,
You know, you can
yeah.
get so many of those things.
Those work really good. A couple months back when like the Ciros are off of Peck's Lake,
Yep.
we'll do that pretty thick, man. You know, go fill up the live well with those, and you can get the Ciros just, I mean, thick on top of you.
Jumping in the boat, basically.
Yeah, which is really cool, and so we'll shoot them, but we'll also fly fish for them, and that's a lot of fun too because I can't cast a fly rod very well, but you don't have to, man. You get them right behind the boat, you're just whipping those things.
Yeah, you
and
don't even
it's-
have to cast. You just leave it like dangling a foot out and drag it with the tip of the rod. You know?
Exactly. So that's a lot of fun. So you do those three things, and then make sure everyone's on the program and just watching each other's back. And you know, you shoot a fish, call the boat over. You want to be right next to the boat, getting that fish as close as you can, putting a follow up shot in it, and just horsing into the boat. Get it into the boat.
That's a good point. I mean, people think that cobia are super hardy, and I mean they are a hardy fish, but you put a meat shot on one of those things, they're ripping off.
Yeah,
You can put a shaft all the way through a cobia, or full flopper, even slip tips. If you shoot that thing in the meat, it's probably gonna pull off.
Yeah, especially if you're putting the amount of heat on it that you should.
Yeah.
You're not letting this thing run. You know, like you're trying to put the brakes on it and get it into the boat.
Yeah. And here, that can be tough. Like, so the other thing I was gonna say too is they've got, I mean, their skull is like a fortress.
Massive.
It's huge for one. It's a huge target, and I mean, getting a shaft through a cobia's head is no simple task. You need some serious power. But if you have the power, shoot the thing in the head. But you got to be careful too. If you shoot them in the top of the head, they'll glance off the top. They got like a real flat top on their head. You can glance those things, but dude, if you can get a shaft through the skull on those things, it will hold.
Yeah.
No matter what that fish does, you can put however much heat on it you want, but you got to have the power for that.
Yeah. I definitely suggest aiming for the head though.
Yeah.
You get the shaft in there, the barb deploys anywhere near any of that, it ain't coming out.
It ain't coming out. I'm going. I mean, the Seawolf has got the power for that kind of stuff, but in the past, I've always, even still, my main target is just gill plate and like pec fin.
Yeah.
Pec fins are on the side, right?
I'm aiming for the eyeballs.
Eyeballs,
man.
That's the best way to put a good holding shot on them.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly, and that's what
the
I'm
body
trying to
shots
do
just don't hold.
put the brakes on them.
Yeah, they just don't hold.
As far as gear goes for that, I like a 120. You know, anything bigger than that, you can reach out a little bit more. But when they're following rays or sharks or whatever it is, they're moving. You got to be able to swing it pretty good. So like a 130 and up, I just don't like tracking anything that big through the water. Every once in a while, you'll get one that'll come up and buzz you, and you can just point it right at it, or you get, the ray or the shark or whatever coming straight at you. Jack Mitchell, he's got a video of him just unicorning one, and just because of the lens of the GoPro, it looks like the shark's right over him. But I mean, that was a cool video. Look up, you can see that on his YouTube page, Captain Jack Spiro. That was a pretty cool video. Yeah, so 120. I really like a 120. Typically, I'm gonna outfit it with a reel. I really like a reel. We're switching spots here. Giving me looks.
No, I'm trying to pull up the I'm trying to get like a web window, like a window capture.
Nice.
And it's just not working.
All right, no worries, man. So I'm using a 120. With a reel. I like a reel for cobia. Typically, we're resetting. If it gets ripped off by a shark on the reel line, I'm only losing the shaft. I'm not out like a float line or some bungee or anything like that.
Or a gun if you're running inline.
Or a gun, because you never know what's gonna happen. Crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, and you don't need to shoot breakaway for cobia.
No.
They honestly, for how big they can get, they really don't fight all that hard. They give like one big run.
Yeah.
Pull them up a little bit. They'll give another like mediocre run, and that's pretty much it. And then when you get them to the surface, they go ballistic on the surface. But they're not like pulling line or anything. They're just going nuts because they don't know what to do with themselves.
For sure.
But
they almost
the reel's the way to go.
Yeah, it's funny. They're like known for playing possum too.
Mm-hmm.
You'll shoot them. You're like, I stoned it. and then right before you like pull it up, they'll do that crazy run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again right at the start. What I found works really good is like a real short gaff.
Mm.
Instead of like trying to pass them up on the shaft or something like that, the guy on the boat just sinks a quick gaff into him, flips him right into the boat.
Yeah.
That works.
Literally,
that works
3 things that I was trying to pull this window up for was I wanted to pull up the Xhale Freediving Louisiana video, which has a bunch of Cobia footage. It has a bunch of really like good shots on Cobia, good like head holding shots. B was one of them playing possum that I shot the thing and just rolled it, like it shaft hit it and it was just like did a little S curve and stayed there.
yeah.
But then as soon as we threw it up on the boat, went ballistic on the boat.
Yeah.
And I mean I'm holding the thing and like swimming it to the boat and it's fully limp. Throw it on the boat and it goes insane. And then the third thing, the guide that we were with had like this little T-handle gaff, which is like literally just like a Captain Hook style thing coming out of his hand, and that thing was money. It was money.
Yeah,
I ended up buying one.
Nice. Yeah, I really like them. But go check out that Louisiana trip, man. You're absolutely right. That's got a ton of good cobia shots on it, and you guys got into some size as well.
Oh yeah, we shot some good fish.
So I'll run a 120 with a reel. And one thing I make sure that I have, because that reel is gloves. I definitely want gloves so I can put the brakes on that reel.
Yeah,
I'm gripping that reel to really slow it down. I'm not trying to feed the sharks. You know, I'm getting it to the surface,
as well as just being able to grab the fish when you get it up.
Yeah.
So like we were saying, they go ballistic on the surface. Man, that sounds so much better since I turned the mic around.
There you go.
It was a little cockeyed. They go ballistic on the surface, but if you get your hands in that thing, like get your hands in the gills and hug it.
Yeah.
I'm talking like get your thighs around the thing and squeeze it, and it's just like gives up. They always do that. They go insane when you get them to the right up. You grab them and they calm right down. But their gills aren't that bad. They're not like a snapper or a grouper gills that'll like tear you up. But they're rough. Like you stick a bare hand in there, it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah.
You know, but you throw a nice set of ballast gloves on,
ready to go,
ready to rip.
And
they got little spines on them too.
Yeah.
Those things can tear you up pretty good.
As far as shafts go, I like to shoot a 7.5, something a little bit thicker than like the standard 7 mil.
Yep.
I like to shoot that 7.5. I feel like it hits a little bit harder, so when I'm shooting it in the skull, it's gonna connect with a little bit more inertia and penetrate a little bit better. Again, I make sure, you know, I'm not trying to shoot some super dull shaft. I want to make sure, shooting through the skull of a cobia is no joke.
Pencil point or tri-cut?
I'll keep it tri-cut for like the first 2 or 3 sharpenings, and then I'm pencil pointing it, just because it's easier to get it.
You remember, man? I think I was with you when we found it on YouTube. This guy that like made this shaft sharpening jig.
Yeah.
That like sharpens the tri-cut with like a curve in it, like a concave curve on each bevel.
That's legit.
And that thing, like he dropped the same 2 shafts, a pencil point. I think it was even a tri-cut, just not like sharpened real well. And his like jig sharpened one, and the jig sharpened one went like twice as far into a boogie board.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's cool.
That
That being said, I have all pencil point tips.
Yeah.
They're way easier to sharpen.
They're way easier to sharpen. I will say, and either way, if your tri-cut is a little bit off, like the tip, if your pencil point is a little bit off, that will noticeably affect accuracy.
More so with the tri-cuts.
Yeah, more so the tri-cut.
Because it's easier to get off.
And you
like get them off.
You're hitting that full plane. You know, it's like a planing surface on there. And people don't think that I didn't think that it was what made that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Until I was in the pool shooting back to back. You know, it.
You know where I think
it makes a difference.
A tri-cut really makes a difference is with slings.
Really?
Because you're dealing with a little bit lower shaft velocities.
Yeah. Where
penetration is already a little bit tough. Anything you can use to get a little bit of advantage on penetration, I think those tri-cuts do work on the sling shafts, man. And if you sharpen a sling shaft that's off kilter a little bit, shaft velocities are so low it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was gonna say is on a gun, because your spear's going so fast, that it being a little bit off, that's why it affects it so much, because that shaft's just, I mean, going Mach 10, you know.
Weeble wobbling.
So yeah, 7.5. I typically don't run an 8 mil that often. I ran one in the Keys, was not, back to 7.5. But yeah, so 120.
I've grown to really like the
real
7.5s.
gloves, 7.5. Yep.
And I think the 120 is the perfect choice for Cobia around here.
Yep.
It's a good range. Because a lot of times here you're taking a little bit farther shots on Cobia.
I'm in like that 15-foot range.
Yeah.
Is where I find myself. Sometimes you
10
get
to
lucky.
15, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky, they come in a little bit closer. Sometimes you gotta win one out there. But
And a lot like our water tends to be a lot clearer. So I've dove a lot with my 110 Rife. And dude, I've come up short on some Cobia with that thing.
yeah,
Where I wanted a little more range, a little more gun.
for sure.
And the 120, it's kind of splitting hairs at
Couple feet.
110 versus a 120,
Couple
but
feet of like
definitely has
usable
more power.
range.
Yeah. The
They-
longer the gun on a standard setup, the more power you're gonna get.
for sure. The more power and the faster that spear is gonna get from point A to point B, which makes a difference as well. Cobia aren't the fastest fish, so maybe not so much with Cobia, but I definitely notice a difference. Even on like snapper, is that bigger gun, they're not gonna jump the shaft, you know, which you wouldn't think about it, but fish definitely will.
There's videos on YouTube, slow motion down of wahoo, that you can see physically watch the wahoo swim past the shaft, like but past the point of aim before the shaft has ever left the gun.
It's crazy.
I remember seeing some videos of that a while ago, and I was like, damn.
I think that has a lot to do too with like the person, like you're like anticipating the recoil of the gun,
Jumping a little bit.
you're jumping, which makes the fish jump. And if you
Yeah.
don't think that makes a difference, next time you're just swimming, go to like the Blue Heron Bridge or somewhere where you're not spearfishing, and
do a
just
little-
go like that. Just flex everything.
And you can hear the fish.
Yeah,
move, and you're like,
yeah.
you know.
They're that's that lateral line, man. That's super sensitive for them. They can
Yeah.
sense when you're and
And if
do-
they
and do
can
the
sense
opposite.
that, sorry,
Yeah, no, and just
you
do
can
the,
really hear it. You talk over someone with the headphones. It's crazy.
you can do the opposite as well. People are always like, oh, they know the range. If I have a pole spear, I've heard this 1,000 times. If I have a gun, they're just out of range. But if I have a pole spear, they're just out of range, and I wish I had a gun.
Because you're holding it out,
for sure.
holding it in.
And you know the range too. So when they're in range, you're all tense and excited, like I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Yeah.
You know, and they're out of range. You're like, oh man, he's out
And
of range.
they can definitely sense that. Fish pick up the vibe
Yeah,
heavy.
for sure.
And you think if the fish can sense you just like jerking your body, think how much of a pressure wave when you pull the trigger and that shaft starts accelerating. Think of how much pressure that shaft is building in front of it in like a pinpoint area.
Yeah,
You think a fish can't pick up on that?
it's
like
throwing bubbles off. That
Yeah.
always blows my mind.
Cavitates, yeah.
it cavitates underwater. Like that always blows my mind.
Yeah.
On watching slow-mo spearfishing videos.
yeah, leading fish, like you said, Cobia, it's not a huge deal. If they're in your line of sight, you're hitting them.
Yeah, yeah. You either are accurate or you're inaccurate. You know,
yeah.
if you're missing them, it's on you. It's on you.
But yeah. What else you got?
Sweet, man. I think that's it. Have fun through mid-April.
Be careful out there.
Be careful out there.
We
Don't
definitely
get
do
in-
not advise diving bull sharks to shoot cobia, but people are going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm.
don't use the water bottle technique.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that one?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright.
Don't use it.
Don't use it.
I would just say, pay attention. You know, pay attention. If you feel that you're in a sketchy situation, you are already in a sketchy situation.
Yeah. Right.
You've gone too far. You're past the point of like, hey, I shouldn't be. Maybe or maybe not. No, if you feel like
If you're looking at a shark, you're like, "Whoa, this thing is getting a little weird." You're too far.
You've gone too far. Yeah, you've gone too far.
Because, like we were saying before, bull sharks, they're like a light switch, man.
Yep.
They're off. They look fine, but as soon as they decide to turn it on, they are 100% on.
They have that reputation for a reason.
Yep.
And you see other kind of sharks out
Highest
there too.
testosterone level of any animal in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I need to get on that shark test program.
Yeah. Right.
You see silkies though, other stuff that'll give you a headache as well. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Let's see. Ooh. Oh man, you can actually buy it.
No.
That's hilarious.
What's the website?
I don't know. I don't want people going to buy bull shark testosterone.
Google it, buy it, let me know the results.
That's a little weird. I was trying to figure out whatever.
Bull shark
Things that can't be
testosterone.
unseen. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully you got some good information out of it.
For
if you
sure.
want to see some good Cobia footage, check out our video on our YouTube channel here. There's a video called Florida Freedivers Goes to Louisiana. Check that out. Some sick footage of shooting big cobia out in Louisiana. Given it's not Florida, but the same kind of stuff applies. You got cobia on structure out there, and the same rules apply. You know, same shots, same kind of gear. A little bit dirtier water.
A little bit less. If you're in the Gulf, it's one per or two per vessel. One, right?
Yeah, I
one
think
per person.
I
two
believe
per vessel. What is ever less?
that's the Gulf of Florida.
Yeah.
It's different per state. Louisiana, I think, is 2 per person per day.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that
look
one.
up your local regs.
Look up your local regs. But yeah, some really good clips of just good shot placement on cobias. There's one in there that's a little questionable, but the first few in that video, really prime shot placement and good cobia clips.
Awesome, and then I can't wait to see everyone's videos. Hashtag
Xhale summer.
XHALE spring break.
Xhale spring break.
Xhale spring break. Now till April 25th. Winner gets a brand new wetsuit, brand new gear bag. Second place, hat and a shirt. So winners all around. I feel like if you enter the contest, you have a 50-50 shot of winning. You know?
PJ, where's your video at, bro?
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
We've got 2 new viewers tonight.
Excellent. Link and then follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube to qualify to be entered. Epic.
We will see you in the next one. Make sure, you probably already said this, make sure to subscribe, and later.